What's going on, family? It's your boy, Anthony ONeal. Before we get to today's show, man, I have a quick announcement to share with you that I'm super excited to share. Yo, on October 17th through the 27th of next year, 2024, I am going to Africa, specifically Ghana, Africa. And guess what? I want to invite some of you all to come with me as well. You know, earlier in 2023, man, I made a irresponsible statement that I regret saying, man. And because of that, I said, you know what, let me get over to Africa, specifically Ghana, some other beautiful areas over there, to where I can just really learn more about my culture, more about our people. And I didn't want to go over there by myself. I said, hey, let me open this up to other people who would love to go see the motherland for themselves as well. So if you want to join me on October 17th through the 27th of 2024, I want you to go to anthonyoneal.com/Africa. That's anthonyoneal.com/Africa. It is a $200 deposit. You have 10 months to make your full payments. It is super affordable. Heck, I'm even opening this trip up to your kids. All right. So listen, before we get to today's show, will you join me? Will you come? We only have 100 slots available. And our last trip, we sold out within a matter of 2 weeks. Registration will close the end of January 31st of 2024. And we're going to have a good time. So join me in Africa, and let's get to today's show. Peace out.
We all come from different walks of life, and today's guests share the wisdom that has guided them through the ups and downs on this journey we call life.
And I want to let everybody know, everything that seems good is not God.
You could do whatever you imagine you want to do, but you have to unlock that or meet somebody that can help you unlock that talent, because you have it in you, but a lot of people don't know that they have it until they are in the right setting.
It can be scary to be you because now your relationship seems like they're fracturing. Yeah. But they were built on a false you to begin with.
Having standards for yourself just comes from principles.
Now, before we hop into today's show, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you can be notified every single time we drop a new video. Alrighty, now let's jump into the show.
Welcome to the table, yeah. We gon' get real, we gon' get right. Oh, building up wealth, we gon' give life. Welcome to the table, wealth, yeah. Welcome to the table, build wealth, life. Welcome to the table.
The truth of the matter is there's a couple reasons, and I'm gonna go real pastor for a second, just so you can get the context of this. Man, I've come from a lot of crap. Like the stuff I've done in the dark is way worse than the stuff that anybody's ever seen me do in the light. And especially trying to live this thing out loud publicly in front of people, actually love people that hate on you and just be a good husband and be a good father. Like I'm really trying to live this thing. And so when I look at the Bible, it says we overcome by the blood of the Lamb. That's what Jesus did. I have nothing to do with that. But my part of that scripture is, and the words of my testimony. And so for me, somebody who was addicted to pornography, had manipulation all in my DNA and ideology, somebody who had a very dark things in my heart, the only reason I'm free right now is because I share my testimony. And a lot of people are still bound because they think somehow they're freer with people not knowing. But God said the only way you stay free actually is by what I did at the cross and then sharing your testimony. I haven't forgot my mat. I'm going to tell you what I was addicted to, and I'm gonna tell you how close I am to walking back there if I didn't have community and accountability and all those different things. So the first reason I gotta share it is because that's how I stay free. And I feel that thing right now, bro. There are so many people that are so close to destroying their life again and going back to the thing because they are silent. And God says there is power of overcoming that thing if you would share it. And so for me, I just said, I'm gonna go first. You don't have to speculate. I'm going to tell you. You don't have to try to figure out what was going on. I'm going to give you the exact details because this is the way I stay free. And so for me, sharing things that happened a year ago, number one, is confirmation that God put his hand on it. Why? Because I finished the book before the spit hit the fan. So God tells me to write the book, no damage publicly, finish the book, the next month, spit hits the fan. God said, I'm going to give you the best public relations in the world for this next book. And I'm like, Lord, if you could have done it a different way, I would have really took it in. Like, you could have really done this differently. But he said, Michael, I want people to see how you handle the mountaintop with me and how you handle the valley. I need people to understand. So that's why I'm saying this is real for me. This wasn't like, let me use this to spin the narrative. The book was done. I had to go back and add when the spit hits the fan. I had to go back and put all that stuff in there because God said, I'm going to make this real for you. I'm going to let the crowd turn on you. I'm going to let the fans become fanatic, and I'm going to let them try to come at you. I want this to be real, and then I want you to stand. I want you to make sure you preserve your soul, and then I want you to go feed people that used to throw stones at you because they need to know how to deal with adversity if they're going to be at any level of success in this earth from me. And so, bro, that's the first reason that I'm doing it, is because this is how I overcome. The second reason that I'm doing this book is because I never saw anybody in my position do this so that I didn't have to walk through the same pitfalls. Everybody that's really sharing their story authentically, they're 75 before they do it. And so by the time I need it, like by the time like I'm in the crucible of it, it's not the examples don't make sense. Like if I was sharing about an example about the telephone book, like that doesn't equate to anybody because that's not the age we live in. Like you can literally find through technology anybody. I wanted it to be real and I wanted it to be current. And I just believe that God is doing current miracles. He's raising up current like people to advance the kingdom. And if we don't tell the story, the narrative of other people are getting way more shine than what God's doing in people's lives. And so most people would have folded if they would have walked through a tenth of what I would have walked through. They would have folded. And bro, I'm here more ready, more clear, more called than I've ever been, bro, because I know what that purification process has done for me. And so I had to write it. I had to be obedient because somebody out there watching this, listening to this, they're going to face similar things and they need to know that we can make it through this. Like the value is still in you.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, one of the things I like about you, Mike, and I really want you to talk about this, man, because you know, they call you the pastor of our generation. Like it's you're so real, you're so relevant, you're so relatable. And I feel as if, and correct me if I'm wrong, because you're in this chair now as a senior pastor. But sometimes I feel as if the church, I'm not saying a particular church, but I'm thinking sometimes the church, we only talk about the triumph, we don't talk about the trauma. We only talk about the success. We don't talk about the hell that we went through. we only talk about marriage, but we don't talk about the whole season that we had.
Come on,
and it's
dog.
like it's like for me, I'm like, is that why we're not seeing as many people come to Christ? Because the church per se, we're only talking about the highlight. But we're not addressing the damage stuff that we've all been through.
Yes.
Heck, let's be real. We're not even talking about some of the things that we still are battling, that we're still working through.
Talk.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, but hey, I know on the inside I'm dealing with this, but God, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then it's like, I feel as if the reason why you've been able to really capture America, not just America, the world, the way that you have is because you're leading with books like this. You're leading with, let me be transparent and honest with you all. Let's be real. What can we do better as the church? I'm talking about all of us, to really bring more people into Christ without, watch this, because I do want to be respectful and say, hey, listen, some things we don't need to be talking about.
Yes,
let's be real. Not everything needs to be out.
Yeah.
But how can we still be relevant and real and show some of our trauma without it misrepresenting the kingdom to bring more people in?
One word, remember. If you would just remember who you were, where you were, what you were doing when the grace of God found you. If you would just remember you getting on the Bible app and then getting on a pornography website. If you would just remember you taking your tithe money and spending it to go on a trip with your friends. If you would just, come on, let's think about it. If you would just remember all the times you said, God, if you get me out of this, I promise I'll never. And you went back the next weekend and did the same thing. It's like we have this amnesia, this like where we forget. And if we get a season of being away or maturing from something, then we crucify people who are in the season we was just in. And it's just it's like if you don't get that it was the unmerited, undeserved, unearned favor and kindness of God that found you, and now you're putting blockages between people and the cross. Like, what are you doing? You become a stumbling block. You become somebody who is preventing people. And a lot of Christians are actually Pharisees and Sadducees, if we want to get deep into it. Like, they remember all the customs and the religious things, but Jesus comes in the New Testament and he says, I don't mean to preach today on here, Anthony, but it's coming out of me right now. But he literally says you can prophesy, you can speak in other tongues, you can literally have angels in communication with you. But if you do not have love, everything that you do is like a gong, a clanging cymbal. What he's saying is everything you do outside of love is annoying to me. And how many believers are walking, doing God's will, but they're not doing it in love. They're actually doing it out of insecurity. They're trying to create levels to where they are and where somebody else is. And that's why I just keep saying, man, if we all could really get healed, if we all could deal with our trauma, because that comes from somewhere, like how we act, how we come into a room, how we retreat, all that stuff is connected to something. And if we could deal with the roots of stuff, we could change the fruit of stuff. And so for me, man, I just think the church has to do a better job at remembering. And then when we remember, then you can relate. It's very hard to correct somebody you don't have a relationship with. Like, I don't want nobody coming to tell me nothing and you ain't said hi to me. You don't know my name. You don't know. Like, the first thing you gonna say to me is you need to change clothes. You can't wear that. We don't say that. And it's like, hold on. Like, what other institution draws people in by casting them out? Like, come on. That is not what Jesus did. Jesus was able to have a level of emotional intelligence and spiritual aptitude to walk into adverse situations, but he was mature and he had the grounding to know that their stance, their habits, their things could not change him, but he was able to entertain their issues long enough to develop relationship with them so that the relationship could turn into revelation of who he was, and that would change them. He didn't start with the revelation to change them. He started with relationship. And I just think that we have done a bad job of really, it's laziness, because we don't want to spend more than an hour with nobody. So we want to be able to point out their issue, talk to them, and they change.
And this bounce.
What? Like this is a process. People took years to get into their what I call damaging delusions, like the areas that they're hurting and frustrating. It may be a journey to walk out of it. And the truth of the matter is most people don't want to journey with nobody because they don't feel like it's worth it. But that's kind of what God commands all of us to do. Go into all the world and make disciples.
What's going on, everyone? It's your boy AO, and I want to thank my friends over at BetterHelp for sponsoring today's show. Hey, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year's. But real quick, let's talk about holiday transitions. You see, in my family, we've always emphasized the importance of being together over gift giving. So I don't really give Christmas gifts because I value family time. Whether it's through sharing experiences or just enjoying each other's company, these moments are the most precious moments that I actually value. And speaking of precious, it's crucial to remember self-care during these times, especially the holiday seasons. You see, it's not just about giving to others, but it's also about how you treat and love on yourself. I want to share something personal with you. You see, over the last 2 years, I've personally used BetterHelp, and it's been a transformative experience for me personally. You see, therapy through BetterHelp has been a journey of self-discovery and personal growth, and I'm excited going into 2024 with everything that I've learned with BetterHelp. You see, it's not only for those facing major challenges, but for everyone who wants to learn more about themselves, develop positive coping skills, and live the best life. It's about empowerment, and it's about becoming the best version of yourself for you, your family, and your loved ones. If you're thinking about starting therapy, BetterHelp is a great option. It's all online, which is super convenient and super flexible. You start by filling out a questionnaire, and then you'll be matched with a licensed therapist. Here's the best part. You can switch therapists anytime if you feel the need, and there's no extra charge for you on that. Now, you know, I'm all about saving $1. This holiday season, give yourself the gift of BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/AO to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/AO. Now, trust me, as we're going into 2024, it's a step towards a happier, healthier that you're really going to enjoy. All right, let's get to today's show.
You're a visionary. I feel like you just have to stay on track and surround yourself with a few people that's going to check you and hold you accountable for your actions. Because sometimes you could get so big that people don't want to check you no more. It's just true, a bunch of yes men.
Yeah.
And I see it happen all the time. And I'm just like, wow, this guy's going to fail or get back in the same situation because nobody is checking him or holding him accountable for the things that he's doing. Just because he's making money. Like, I have people, like, it's crazy. People 50, 60 years old doing, like, and I have to check them like they're 10-year-old. And I'm just like, how old are you? Like, I should be getting advice from you. But now I'm checking you, putting you in your place because you running around because you making a little more money and they know nobody gonna say nothing.
Because they got the bag.
Because they got the money. And I'm just like, bro, if I'm gonna be real with you, I always start off the conversation like, I'm gonna make you mad real quick.
Uh-oh.
And they be like, you could never make me mad. Then I sit down and say, all right, lay down the facts. And they just like, you know what? I needed to hear that from somebody.
Wow.
So it's just like, once you get out that situation, just keep that goal that you had, on your mind. Because I feel like whatever you put on your mind, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
And I always tell people that it's the mindset because I work with a lot of chefs, a lot of cooks and servers, and their mindset is like, I'm not great enough to do that. And I'm just like, then you will never do it or you will never be great enough to do it. But I'm like, if you say, I can do this, even if you fail, you're working towards it.
Facts.
And you're going to get better and better and better.
Facts.
So.
So you moved from New York.
Yep.
Came here, and then did you open up Kitchen Cray?
No, so I started Kitchen Cray like 2 years later after I got here because I always look for a need to fill.
Yeah.
And I just said, you know what? They don't have, black chefs out here that's popping, that's doing fun stuff.
Right.
So I said, all right, let me start Kitchen Cray. And Cray is actually the acronym. The C is for the creativity, the R is for the revolution that we started out here with the black chefs. The A is for the artistry, because we're culinary artists.
Right.
And the Y is for the youth, because we give back to the youth. We do like a lot of events with, the Boys and Girls Club. We created our own nonprofit. My wife has a nonprofit, Deanna Fit. And we just turned it into something cool. And and then I had friends that's making money. So I said, I don't care how much money you make, how much you doing for the community. So we started this thing where we started saying positive peer pressure. So now I'm pressuring you into do something positive with your money besides spending on yourself.
Yeah. And I think that's why your business is so successful.
Yeah, because we do a lot in the community. Yeah. And then I started doing the pop-ups.
Okay.
Saving my money. I'm from New York, so, we got the shoe boxes. We putting them on. Because I didn't really know.
The bank.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't want to put this amount in there. Then they be on. I pay my taxes. Don't get me wrong, I'm going to pay my taxes, but I don't want my stuff sitting in somebody else's hand because I didn't understand how it really worked because I never made that much money before.
Right.
And I started doing catering, and I wanted to open like a catering kitchen. So God had other plans for me. So it took me like a year to find the kitchen. Then when I was finally about to open it, people were just like you were coming to town, like, where can I have your food?
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? Let me just try this restaurant thing out for a while.
Okay.
and we got smacked. Like, we was doing over 15,000 a day within 5 hours. Every day I closed within 5 hours, 15,000 a day. Like, stress. I'm about to felt like I was gonna get a divorce with my wife because I didn't know what was going on. She couldn't understand, you know, like how much time I had to. I used to sleep in the restaurants. Like, my staff bought me a bed. I used to be in there 24 hours just like trying to unlock my greatness. Like, I have to master this. I can't give up, because it was plenty of times where I'm closing those doors like, yo, I can't do this. Then the next day I'm like, all right, let's fight again. And yeah, I just kept doing it. And then I made enough money to open the second one, and then the third one. Yeah. And then now I consult for people too. So you might have a restaurant and say, yo, how much it costs? Hey, give me 50,000, I'll be there.
Right.
And I come down there for 2 weeks, you give me my 50,000, I get your stuff together, and then we could make a partnership, or you can put me on salary and I'll come down once a month to make sure everything is in place, or I could send down one of my chefs to do the same thing.
Wow. So now you've built this business.
Yep.
I call it a legacy because that's going to impact your family. And now you're helping other people with your wisdom and knowledge and experience build something to hopefully help them avoid some of the mistakes that you've made.
Yep. And then now we have a transportation company as well. So we have the trucks. We just partnered up with BWI. We have a Sprinter, and they have like a fleet of cars. So, you know, since they're already doing it, I'm like, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. Like, y'all take it and
run it.
Run it. Like, let's work together. You know, we both Black businesses. We trying to get it.
Yep.
I need something from you. You need something from me. And, you know, people always saying, you shouldn't let people use you, but what they say, God put you here to be used, or you have to be useful or you useless.
Yep.
So the people that's useless, they never make it to the top because they always worried about somebody using them. I'm always here to serve people so people can use me as a resource, as anything. Like, I want to be useful. And that's my mindset. I never go into something thinking, I wonder if they're going to use me or try to get something out of me or this and that. I'm just like, I want them to use me. Like, that's what I'm here for. And, you know, whatever their intentions are, that's cool. But I know what my intentions are. And I feel like once they see my intentions, they like, it turns into something different. And then it takes me to the next level.
Nah, bro, you're booming, man. We go by there and you just, every time I call you, you make time for us, man. And your staff, great, love us, always take good care of us. So we could definitely tell how God is rewarding you, and not just you, but your business.
Thank you.
I want to pivot a little bit, still around the business space, because I mean, let's not swipe over that. You said you make $15,000 a day in 5 hours. You're building a $10 million. You know, you have a $10 million business this year, 2023. You'll probably do 13 to 15 with this new venture that you just started. I was with Bishop Jakes last month, and on the stage, on the last session, he was about to preach a sermon, and he said, you know what, I don't want to preach. He said, we're all entrepreneurs in here. We're all pastors in here. On the outside, we look great. You know, careers are booming, churches are booming, businesses are booming, but our homes are failing.
Yeah.
And he said, we within the Black community specifically, we need to win at home as husband and wife, wife and husband, husband and father, mother and father, family. I want to spend like the last 10 minutes of this show just really talking to you about, because we see that you're winning here, but then, man, you and your wife have a dope relationship. How has she played a role in you and Kitchen Crate winning? How are you all winning at home, and how did y'all gather that relationship to where, because I'm pretty sure it wasn't always easy.
Yeah.
But like, how did y'all
Still
get
not
to a
easy.
point? Still not easy.
Still not easy. Because the more you grow, the more you find out, the less time you have. Because we all got to die one day. So it's just like, my mindset is, let's do as much as we can while we're here. Because I just see so many young people dying, like from health, from getting hit by a car, from this, from that. So like, she helped me understand how a business works. Because when I met her, she had her own business.
She did?
Yeah,
What was your wife doing?
She owned the gym. So she was teaching me, like, you know, how it works. So I'm one of those people that I'm gonna be around you, I'm gonna learn it, and then I'm gonna just take off. And you know, her watching me grow, she was just like, I never seen nobody work like you. Like you were one of those dudes, you didn't have nothing. Like when she met me, I was like sleeping at my friend's house.
What?
And she still you know, was cool with it. So I was just like, all right, cool. And, you know, coming home, we gotta really communicate with each other. Like, she has to know everything that I'm doing, and I have to know what she's doing, and I have to let her know what I'm doing, just so nothing gets overlooked. Because like you said, we just had a baby, so I gotta make sure I'm spending time with my baby. I don't want my baby not to call me daddy, you know?
Right.
When we first had her, I had to go to Dubai for a month. So I almost missed Christmas working. I came home the day before Christmas, and she was just like, you gotta figure this out. Like, you cannot, this is her first Christmas, you almost missed it. Like, the next year, same thing happened.
Same thing?
But this year I said, you know what, it's gonna be my change. I'm not working towards, you know, close to Christmas anymore, because I always get stuck in that country, wherever country I'm. I don't know how, but I always make it home like a day before Christmas. To, you know, be with the family, cook, open gifts.
Yeah.
But yeah, like and she gotta hold me down too, because mentally, I can't talk to friends about the things, like you said, on the outside, it looked like we're doing great. I'm booming, this and that. But on the inside, it's like sometimes you're lonely. You don't know, you know, who you can trust.
Right.
Family members start turning on you. You don't know who you can talk to, because they might spread false information and said you said it. So it's like you got to lock in with your wife and say, you know what, it's us. And, you know, y'all gonna fight here and there. Nobody's perfect, but you got to understand we are on the same team. Like, we might have had a fight this morning. I just don't hold grudges, so I'll be letting it go. But sometimes, you know, she'll be like, I'm still mad at you. And I'm like,
that's a woman thing.
I'm like, yo, I'm happy. Like, why you still mad?
Ladies be holding grudges.
I'm like, let it go. Ladies out there, let it go. Don't be mad at that man. He just out there doing the best he can.
If I could transport back and talk to my 24-year-old self, I would tell him not to take everything so seriously. I was the youngest elder at Potter's house at 24 years old. And what was stripped from me was the joy of being a young adult. So we get into ministry and we think we got to get deep. And we take sober-minded to mean serious. You can be sober and still have fun. Right? Yeah. So if I could talk to my 24-year-old self, I would say, relax. First of all, you don't have it all together.
Right.
You never will. So let yourself off the hook on that. Okay? Be hot. Be honest, open, and transparent about everything that you are dealing with. Don't hide nothing. And don't ever, you got a girl, I know you're not married, I ain't trying to meddle. But Juliet is my bride, and the church is Jesus's. And I will never spend more time with his than I spend with mine. I'm all sold out for ministry, I'm all sold out for the local church. I served it well, I love it, I support it. And he's called all of us to minister as the body. But he's only called me to minister to Juliet. And so if I had to preach Sunday at somebody's church, right? And I got sick, they're gonna find somebody else to preach.
Yes, sir.
Guaranteed. They're gonna be like, Tim was supposed to come, he ain't here, bye, right? If my plane would have got delayed, AO could have been like, so anyway, we just gonna do a whole Q&A night, you know what I mean? And keep it moving. Yeah. But I can't call nobody to go take Juliet out on a date for me.
That's good.
Talk, man. Talk.
Cause
good.
So we're not gonna do that. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna give you one more story and then I'll shut up. So I was young, like I said, I was a young adult pastor at Potter's house. We had a revival, it was dope. I'm driving home and I'm thinking about the whole night and it was just beautiful. And something dawned on me. And when it dawned on me, I said, you just used me. And I moved God the Father out of the way from God the Holy Spirit. I'm like, Jesus, I want to talk to you. I said, you just used me. I said, you just used me to minister to your bride, to encourage your bride, to correct your bride, to exhort your bride, to speak life into your bride. I said, I'm in a competition with you from now on. I said, I will not have better words to say to your bride than I have to say to mine. Everything about ministry taught me how to love my wife. And it taught me how to keep my priorities straight. Bishop wanted me to go to MegaFest South Africa the first time that they went in 2008. In 2008. Nathan was 2.5 months old. Bishop wanted me to run the whole thing. I was going to meet Nelson Mandela. He was still alive at the time. I was going to be able to go to Swaziland, and this is an iconic conference that's going to be on the continent of South Africa for the first time. He wanted me there. He personally told me, I need you there. And I told him I can't come. I said I would be setting a bad precedent to Juliet to be on the other side of the world with our firstborn child just being born. I said, I'll serve you and I'll do whatever I can. I can't do this. He didn't like it, but he respected it. So you don't have to compromise your values to serve God or serve man. So once you figure out what it is that are core values to you, minister out of that. And the moment those boundaries get crossed, make sure to calibrate and bring them back in. But I promise you, you can be in ministry for the next 4 decades, and there's still going to be more to do. So always know when to say stop, because the church is the neediest woman that's ever been on planet Earth. She just is.
And let me add this too, man. At 24, if I can go back to my 24-year-old self, there's one thing I would do differently. I would watch who has my ear, who's speaking into my ear. I think at 24, really I allowed so many different people to speak into my ear that I lost my own voice. That their voices became my voice. And it was 10 different people who called themselves men of God, wisdom, brothers, homies, friends. I love you. Yeah. And I never heard actually from God because I looked at all of them as my God. And so at 24 years old, I could go back to myself, man. I would be like, Ayo, he has your voice. The rest of them don't.
That's good.
And if I just had one person and I dive deeper into my word. Someone asked me earlier in the VIP, they said, man, how do you hear from God? Like, how do you know you hear from God? It's easy. If you don't hear from God, that means you're not in your word.
It's great.
Simple. Yeah. And so the more voices you have, then that's the more friction between you and God.
It's great.
And so if at 24, just make sure you're praying that she's your wife. And if you hear from God and she says she's your wife, let no one else say she's not.
Woo!
Yes, sir.
And then as soon as he say that, get her. Because Lord Jesus, being 39 years old and not married.
See?
Listen,
what's your Cash App?
Jesse Proda, JESSEPRODA.
SSEPR?
PRODA.
It's not your birthday.
I like how
popped I didn't put the little sign in front of it.
I like how you said that real quick, too. You didn't say what for. You said, hey, I'm going to give it to you.
Yeah, he just started spelling. Hey, what's your Cash App? JES?
I'm 24, man. Hey, listen, I got to take her out on the date. She expensive.
I'll get it after. It didn't pop up.
Okay.
But I'll get it after.
Okay.
Man. All right, man. Can we clap for him, y'all?
Yeah,
Happy
great.
birthday.
Happy birthday! Woo!
What's up, brother, man? Talk to us.
How y'all doing?
Hey.
My name is Jonte. I want to first say thank you both for all the wisdom and advice and everything that y'all are spilling back into us tonight. I greatly appreciate it, and I know everybody else does here.
Thank you, Jonte.
So, yes, absolutely. I'm a new follower of Anthony and now you, Tim. My mentor invited me this evening. She was like, hey, I got an extra ticket. Do you want to come? And I've been blessed since I've
Who's your mentor?
Danielle Craig over here in the back corner.
Stand up.
Let's go!
Yes. Love it.
Absolutely. So she's a strong follower of you both. So I'm just blessed to be here.
Glad you're here.
But to get into my question.
Yes, sir.
So Tim, you've said that nothing God gives us we should feel we are able to handle. With that, how are you aware of the things that he's putting you through to handle it? And how do you embrace that process?
Yeah, so I'm glad you asked that question because I do want to make sure I clarify. I'm not saying that when God calls you to do something that you can't be excited about it, you can't feel like confirmation that I know that you're calling me to this. My concern is with people who feel like they can do it with him or without him, right? That's how you get a lot of dead churches.
Wow.
Because they'll do it whether he's there or not, right? What the when Jesus was on the cross, the veil in the temple was split from the top to the bottom. There is no Ark of the Covenant there. The Ark of the Covenant represented God's presence in the temple. It wasn't there. Right. Yet they were still doing all the religious things like it was.
Right.
So empty religion is when you can do it without God. Right? So my thing is I'm confident in what I'm doing now as a podcaster because I know God's with me.
Yeah.
But I would never say that whether he's with me or not, I got this, I'm gonna be a star, I put myself up, we made us. Like that whole mentality is just really spooky to me. Yeah. So, okay, I gotta give you a Bible verse. All right,
I knew he was gonna go there. I knew he was gonna get the Bible.
I'm telling you, these scriptures, they just be asking. They do. They be popping up in my head like, talk about me. And I'd be like, I wasn't even studying you just now, but if you say so. Lord Jesus. So here's the mindset I want you to have. So this is 1 Samuel 17. David gets ready to fight Goliath, right? So, he's already talked to Saul. He already put on Saul's armor. It didn't work, blah, blah, blah. All right, so now Goliath has already talked smack to David, and now David's responding to him. And I'll read 45 so I can get to 46. David replied to the Philistine. I'm reading from the NLT. You come to me with sword, spear, and javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord of heaven's armies, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. Here it is. Today the Lord will conquer you, and I will kill you and cut off your head. And then I will give the dead bodies of your men to the birds and wild animals, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel. Exclamation mark. Gangster. It's one of my favorite verses, all right? David knew what he could do and what he couldn't do. And it was literally teased out in the way he responded. He said, today, the Lord will conquer you. I know who conquers. It ain't me. But today, I will kill you. The Lord has a role and I have a role, right? It's not all him and it's not all me.
The way I see it is this, I consider myself to be like a luxury item. If you have like a I don't know, 99 Corolla or something like that, you might not do the most with that car. You don't have to, you don't have to have the best of everything to put on there because it's a low maintenance vehicle. But if you have some sort of brand new luxury car, you have to make sure that you have appropriate tires. Things have to be, you keep it up. And I consider myself to be a luxury item. Things that are luxurious require a lot more care. I require the best lotions and oils to put on my skin, you know what I'm saying? Because it's a luxury item. Same thing with my hair. The same thing with just who I am as a person. And when you respect yourself, you look at yourself like that. As opposed to going out and, willfully looking raggedy as a way to fight white supremacy, apparently. That's what people say, But
willfully looking raggedy though. Hold on, sis. What you mean? Like not doing the hair?
Yeah.
Wearing the bonnets?
Like advocating so hard to be outdoors in inside clothes.
I got you.
And it's and it lets me know that you haven't even washed yourself today. Like you don't respect yourself enough. If you got on pajamas, this is what you went to sleep in, right? You haven't done anything to yourself. Like if we respected ourselves, we would look better, we would speak better. And I'm not saying that we can't use, the African-American vernacular English or our slang or whatever, because I talk like how I want to.
Right.
You can tell from a lot of the things that I say that I'm from the West Coast.
Right.
And I like that.
Yeah.
So it's not to do away with our culture, but just you know, speaking in a way to where people could understand what we're saying.
Yeah.
And we have the words to describe what we're trying to tell people, you know?
Yeah.
If we respected ourselves, we wouldn't go and, you know, be like really out of shape. Because if you loved yourself and your body, and I know people get mad at that. People tell me like, you don't understand how hard it is because you're skinny. I don't think people understand how hard this is. Like, this isn't easy to maintain. It takes discipline to not eat up all the food that I know I want to eat, because I got a sweet tooth, you know?
Yeah.
I didn't do good this weekend because I was kind of like on vacation. You know what I'm saying? So I did eat like a whole pack of fudge stripe cookies, but that's neither here nor there. But for the most part, you know, it requires a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you respect yourself, you know, because we have this whole body positivity movement, which I understand. No one should look at themselves in the mirror and hate what they see.
Right.
But if you're doing self-love and self-care and you want to be, you know, body positive, you should love yourself enough to want to have your body working as best as possible. You know, you respect yourself enough to want the best out of yourself. You know you have potential in you. You should want to cultivate that instead of dying and putting all that potential in the grave, you know? So, yeah.
It starts with us.
Right. Right.
If we want to see change, it starts with us respecting and loving ourselves.
Yes, it does. And it's not about white people, because everybody keeps saying that, like, you know, are you doing this for them and all this other kind of stuff? Or it's not even like begging white people for things, you know, like saying like they have to fix this or they're the ones who put us in this, like, because we live in a whole victim society where everyone is a full-time victim. We're outraged by everything. Everything offends us. But victims aren't powerful. Like my mom would always tell me, you can't be pitiful and powerful at the same time. You just can't, you know? And if we're Black excellence and, you know, it's so dope to be Black and Black is a vibe and all this other kind of stuff. If that's how we feel, then why are we in this victimhood? You know, like we don't get out of the place that we're in by feeling sorry for ourselves. You know, the people that put us in this position, they're not gonna help us. They keep us in this position because it benefits them the most. It's like seeing a house on fire and asking the people that started the fire to help to put it out. Like they started this fire and we're looking to them to help put it out. We
gotta do it ourselves.
We have to do something, yeah.
And it starts with the Black community, boy. Eric, you need to start a show and come on network. Cause you know you speaking my language. I'm telling you this right now. I'm like, why are we giving? And I hate saying white people, but I think why are we giving the people who put us in this position that much power? By always saying, well, they.
Right.
Rather than saying, okay, we acknowledge that this is an issue.
Yes.
It did happen.
Yes.
And it needs to be resolved. But why do we keep bringing it up? Rather than saying, all right, cool, this is where we are. How do we progress forward?
Exactly.
Okay, Erica, you got a business. How can I sow into you that then sows back into the community that I can benefit from?
Right.
Okay, CJ, you got this. Okay, bro, you got this. Okay, you got that. Like, how can we all come together and progress forward rather than always complaining and always arguing about what they did?
Right.
For me right now, I'm like, well, who the heck is they? I'm done talking about they.
Right.
I want to talk about them in the future. What are we doing?
Exactly.
And how are we going to set them up to succeed? Like, it starts with us.
Right. And that's the type of mindset that it should be. Because that's what the scriptures say, Proverbs 13:22.
You save, you love the Lord too, E. He said that's what the scriptures say. You know what I'm saying?
A good man leaves up an inheritance for his children's children.
Talk that talk, E. Talk that she saved, y'all. Y'all, boy, let me try to tell you right now, boy. I better slide them DMs, boy.
Oh, yeah, you don't know. My parents are, I'm a preacher's kid.
You're a preacher's kid?
Yeah.
From the West Coast?
From the West
I don't want to say where you live, but in that city?
Yeah. Well, they're in, yeah.
Near that city?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I won't put a personal business out there, you know what I'm saying? But that's what's up. I probably am aware of them, you know, because I mean, you know, yeah, I'm going to leave it right there. Okay. I feel good now, boy. We about to go like another hour now, boy. She love the Lord. She know the Lord. Yeah. DM, she single. Anyways. Hey, we I think Black love starts with really acknowledging where we got to get better at. You know, my platform is really all about how do we build wealth, how do we eliminate debt, and how do we start as a Black community? How do we start creating and owning the tables that we create? Like, how do we take our lives back into our control and we own that, right?
Right.
And one of the things that I'm always hearing from the Black community is, well, white people, the system wasn't made for us.
Right.
I'm always hearing, well, the white man won't let us win, or this won't happen. We got to get reparations. We got to get this. We got to get that. And I'm like, man, if that's how we're going to think, we're never going to change.
Right.
And here's the truth. I don't think that we'll see major changes in my generation.
Right.
But I was reading a book called The Wealthy Family, and they talk about how all these white families, how they were able to send down generational wealth to 10 different generations, and how the wealth continued to stack up, not go up, level, and then die.
Right.
You know, it was like, oh, every generation just stacked up. And it was because that family was very strategic. They had board meetings in their families. They had family meetings that was mandatory. If you and your spouse, if you married someone else, you and your spouse had to come to that meeting.
Right.
If you had kids and if they were above 15, the kids had to be at the family meeting.
Right.
And I was sitting, I was like, man, when is the last time we've seen this in the Black community?
Right.
You know, when have we sat here and said, okay, son, hey, get this? And I felt convicted. I went on vacation about a month ago on a sabbatical, and I really felt convicted for myself because I have the estate plan. I have the money part that I'm leaving in generations. But I really didn't go deep and think about my 9th grandson, who would never meet me, right? And I'm literally now I'm spending the rest of this year writing and thinking about my Black 9th grandson. I'm writing him a letter. I'm writing that generation a letter from myself. I'm starting a journal that by the time it gets to them, they will see me, my son, daughter, whoever, that they'll see the generation of leaders by the time it gets them to read, okay, hey, this is what we learn from. This is the mistake. This is what we learned from. This is what we did. This is what I would not do. And by the time it gets to them, they can learn about relationships, money, mistakes, God, you name it, from my perspective, 10 generations before them.
Yeah.
And I think in a Black community, if we really love the Black community, it starts with us really thinking about the grandchildren we will never meet.
Facts. That is such a big deal to me, you know, which is why like that scripture is so important, because it's like we have to think bigger than ourselves. And that's what the problem is. Like you spoke about when you were younger and how you were selfish, and that's what it is a lot of the times. People that do have platforms, they might have started out in a way that was like, okay, I want this to benefit our community, but then things shift and it becomes more about the ego and self and all of that. And people don't work together as much as they should, or, you know, it becomes like a routine, you feel me? But I feel like what is really important is understanding that it's bigger than just me, and it's bigger than this time period, but it goes generations beyond.